Overwhelmed with grief, Leanne O'Brien, the girlfriend of victim Jack Merritt, comforted by Jack's father at the Vigil in Cambridge. Jack's mother, in a grey coat, stares at the ground. At 11 a.m, the Cambridge community stood with them. The market square still and silent, remembering the lives of two compassionate young people so cruelly murdered. Saskia Jones and Jack Merritt were stabbed to death by convicted terrorist Usman Khan at a prisoner rehabilitation event, there because they wanted to help people like Khan. In a statement, Jack's family said, "He lit up our lives and the lives of his many friends and colleagues, and we will miss him terribly." Saskia's family described her as a funny, kind, positive influence at the centre of many people's lives.
Let us keep silent and remember.
At the Guildhall in London, less than a mile from where the students were killed, the Bishop of London led the vigil. London's Mayor, Boris Johnson, and Jeremy Corbyn silent, after a weekend in which some say they were too quick to politicise the discourse. The former head of the parole board among the critics.
It's really disappointing that certainly early on there seemed to be people making fairly cheap political points out of this, which I think was disrespectful to the victims, but also factually incorrect. Actually, we don't yet have the facts about this case that we need.
So sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And in response to Boris Johnson suggesting tougher sentences for terrorists, David Merritt, the father of victim Jack, wrote this in The Guardian. If Jack could comment on his death and the tragic incident of Friday the 29th of November, he would be livid. He would be seething at his death and his life being used to perpetuate an agenda of hate that he gave his everything fighting against. We should never forget that. Pressure then on Mr. Johnson.
Well, of course, I feel, as everybody does, a huge amount of sympathy for the loss of Jack Merritt's family and indeed for all the relatives of Jack and Saskia who perished at London Bridge. But be in no doubt, I've campaigned against early release and against short sentences for many years.
Jeremy Corbyn says there's still much to understand.
What happened in the prison with this particular individual, what assessment was made of his psychological condition before he was released, and also what supervision and monitoring he was under after coming out.
Today, though, was not about one man's hatred, but instead remembering the compassion and hope embodied in the lives he stole. Jason Farrell, Sky News.